So now that brings us to our topic with that background, androgyny and surrealism. All of these principles were the surrealists were very interested in this because this really echoed their own principles of illogic and abnormality that they were always very interested in. And it also fit their idea that sexual union would resolve the polarities between men and women and into a creative whole. And a lot of the surrealists pointed to Leonardo as promoting this idea of androgyny, that they said there was a subtext in Leonardo's art. There's some belief that the Mona Lisa is really Leonardo himself, and that in drag, he had dressed himself up. I don't know if that's true, but certainly the artists as early as the 19th century, so way before the surrealists, liked the idea of making or hinting that Mona Lisa was also male. And of course, the famous Duchamp mustache that then was echoed by our own Salvador Dali. This is actually a photo of Dali himself superimposed on Mona Lisa, done with Philip Halsman. And then in the 70s, he did another kind of portrait of himself with the same theme. But the interesting thing about this is in the surrealist canon, the female figure is the supreme symbol for all that's erotic and all that's creative, but the surrealist female artist was always another matter for the surrealists. This was something that Amanda Lear quoted in her book that Dali said, "Talent is unique to men. Referring to Leonor Fini, is better than most women painters, perhaps, but talent is in the balls." Don't you agree that women don't have balls? Have you ever heard of a great woman painter? One as great as Velázquez or Michelangelo. Only men. Talent, creativity, genius is in the testicles. Without them, one can create nothing. For women, creation is procreation. They can bear children, but they will never decorate the Sistine Chapel. So, there's a book out that we read in our literary salon called Farewell to the Muse, which tries to give portraits of women within the surrealist circle who didn't really agree with Dali's assessment. Whitney Chatwick, who's the author of this book, she said that in those times the word artist meant man, unless you qualified it with woman artist, then it was a woman artist. But these are two, and I'm going to present you some of these women. Leonora Carrington said, "I didn't have time to be anybody's muse. I was too busy rebelling against my parents and learning to be an artist." And Frida Kahlo said, "I am my own muse. I am the subject I know best, the subject I want to know better." Now, Leonora Fini, she's the one that Dali thought was a pretty good painter but didn't have balls. She's a really very interesting character. She was, as a child, dressed as a boy because her father was fighting for custody for her, and her mother would dress her up as a boy to hide her so that the father wouldn't recognize her. And later on in life, she always said she needed two men, and she stuck by this. She always had a friend that was male and a lover that was male. She believed in individual freedom and physical transformation. She often dressed in men's clothes, even as an adult, and she often wore masks. She was very good friends with Leonora Carrington, and she depicted her friend often androgynously, in this case as a warrior with male clothes scattered at her feet. Here's a picture of them. I wanted to repeat that quote by Dali because I think it's funny, but talent is in the balls. So that's, of course, Dali, and that's Gala at his feet, and that is a very fierce-looking Leonora Fini with a male companion.